Right, hello everybody. How are we all doing this week? Do you like my shirt? Buongiorno, everybody. Buongiorno indeed. Let me just see if I can get the chat up and working because it's a different thing from last week. This is so disorganised. I'm not very good at doing this. Oh, come on. No. There is quite a delay as well on the live chat. For some reason. That's Catrone. La 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 la. Right, now we're cooking. Craig Smith, when the ball hits the goal, it's not Shearer or Cole, it's Catrone. It's a little bit dated, I know, but I've been singing that all day as well. I can't think of any other better words. I have asked my dad, who wrote me Buzz Another Word, to see if he can come up with something. So you have to wait and see if he can come up with something interesting. But yes, what a couple of days it's been. I think we sort of predicted this. We sort of predicted this last week with the everybody was panicking and everybody was worried about who Wolves were bringing in, or the lack of people that Wolves were bringing in, but it hasn't taken that long, and all of a sudden we've got a player who's playing at Real Madrid and AC Milan's backup striker. So I'd say that's pretty good business by Wolves, and unsurprisingly they've come up with the goods once more. Ciao Shiv, Matthew Jevons. Why would I be Shearer or Cole? I'd be Shearer or Cole right now. Still, I think they would do a job to some extent in the Premier League. Did Jeff build a time machine? Isn't it just? Are there any other players that rhyme with Shearer or Cole? Lukaku? No. Let me just tweet out that I'm on. Someone who rhymes with goal. Is what's his name? Carlton Cole. Is he still playing? Discussing the transfer madness. There we go. Right. So how is everybody feeling this week? How do we feel about Crusaders last Thursday? It was a little bit underwhelming, wasn't it? All the hype for the first European game, and then it was not the most exciting, was it, at all? I think it was pretty disappointing. Is there anybody in the chat as well who perhaps was affected by the lack of seats in the South Bank? There were a couple of rows missing by all accounts. So yeah, let me know in the chat. I think there's quite a delay. Because I'm watching myself. I'm that vain. I'm watching myself so I can keep up with the chat. And then things are coming through. I can also see that I haven't updated the scroll on the bottom. So you've got Van Agre signs a new deal until 2024. I think I might need to change that 1 minute, but I'll just go through the few questions that we've got coming through at the moment. So Diaz or Cam, says Shiv. Now, I was talking to my dad just now about this, and he was asking, why do we need so many defenders? But I think what is going to happen, and I wouldn't be shocked if... I've mentioned it a few times, and I'm not saying it because I want it to happen, but I think that it will at some point this season, is that Conor Cody and Bennett will move through the squad this year, and they'll be a little bit lower on the pecking order next year. Or this coming season, and I think that Diaz could come into that centre of the back three. Vallejo on the other side of the back three is a little bit up in the air, I think, at the moment as to what is going to happen. But I think what's going to happen is that we're going to sign another defender. What I hope happens is that we buy a sort of this Danny Olmo, from what I've heard of him and from what I've seen on YouTube. I mean, I'd never heard of him before. We've got to be honest. He looks like he could have been that unlocking play, but it doesn't look as if he's going to be the man to come in. But there's the other one from Benfica. That's not Diaz. The other one, I can't remember. He is Gelson, something like that. I mean, I know that as a channel I probably should do the research and put that all in for you, but I haven't. So yeah. Craig Dawes, against the lesser teams, is it worth putting Patrick and Raul up front with Diogo playing in the hole? Obviously not against the big boys. Now, I heard this as well. Obviously, we shouldn't do it against the big boys, but I don't know what that would what would be the bad side of doing that. I think the middle three in Neves and Dendoncker and Moutinho work so well, and are the main reason for that we finished 7th last year. The turning form was when Dendoncker came in and things like that. It all coincided with going to 3 in midfield. So I'd say that that's the reason why we need to... Thank you, Mike Fernandez. That's it. I think that we do need to have a different way of playing, a different option, and maybe Jota and all three of them in a sort of more tighter front three than when we were in the Championship and we had the 2 wingers. I think it could work. But what I want to see more against the lower teams is not playing 3 at the back, because Conor Cody was completely redundant last Thursday. He didn't offer anything at all. And when you're playing against a team who are not going to get out of their own half, you need to have an extra man in midfield, or be able to push Moutinho up and know that he's got the cover behind him. Little things like that we really should be taking those opportunities, moving forward and attacking more. That's the reason we aren't able to break these teams down, because we don't use possession. We don't get through possession quickly enough in that final third, I think, anyway. Incredibly underwhelming. Was berating Wolves all Thursday night. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Jack Coleman, just get this second leg out of the way. Pray that there are no injuries or issues. And on to the next one. Hopefully that's Czech Republic, as Armenia isn't looking tasty. Well, the Armenian team, I think they're called Punic, are winning at the moment in that tie. So that's it could be very, very difficult, I think, for Wolves fans to get out over to Armenia. Obviously, the Czech Republic would be favourable, but with the very quick turnaround, people are going to have to, have very generous bosses to be able to sort that out. Yeah. Buzzing of the Controni signing. Doubt we'll get Diaz as they want too much for him. But it's a funny old game. Never say never. Yeah, I think if we did sign Diaz, it would take the summer spending to over 100 million, and I'm not sure that that Fosun would be too keen on that, just because of how. I mean, I could be wrong in saying this, but I've got a feeling that we've just entered a new phase of financial fair play, in that they come in 3-year cycles, and we've just ended a previous one, and we've, by all accounts, we would have probably broken even with all the money that we got from being in the Premier League last year, the TV money. We can reinvest that, and we can push on. So perhaps they're sort of gambling like they did a little bit in the Championship season in breaking the financial fair play in order to try and get into the top 4 at some point in these next 3 years. It could be an interesting little period. We'll have to see. Manny, hello. Good to have you in. Nathan Jones would rather an attacking midfielder than a centre back. Yeah, I think we've probably got enough cover in terms of players in the terms of the defenders. Hi mate, says LUFC Dave. We've got a Leeds fan watching. Brilliant. Just finished my video. Catrone will be good. Yeah, hope so. Manny, why does everyone reckon the back 3 will be... Oh, sorry, what does everyone think the back 3 will be if we pull off Diaz? I don't know much about Diaz. I think it depends what foot he prefers. I think that Bolly's been playing out of position really for 2 seasons. He's a right-footed player playing on the left-hand side of that 3. Cody's obviously right-footed. Bennett's right-footed. So we could do with a left-footed player in that back 3 just to for a bit of balance. So hopefully Diaz will offer that. And personally, I would have him in the middle of a 3 with. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Jesus yet, but I imagine if he's playing for Real Madrid and they want to, it appears as if they want to keep him, he might be worth putting on the on that right hand side. I don't know. So hello Nathan Jones. Oh, he's the chap on Twitter, and he gets very excited every Wednesday that I put up. Hello Nathan. Should have been on time though. I mean, it's taken you till 8:10 or just before 8:10 to actually get into the stream. That's disappointing for what, but expect better from you, mate. Shiv, incredible how we could be a formation change away from a top 6 or even top 4, but Nuno won't switch it. He did switch it a little bit last year. I think if he hadn't have switched it and we stuck with 3-4-3 all season, we could have been looking at a relegation battle at some point. However, we pushed. Oh, okay. I've seen other things. We changed and we pushed forward and we finished 7th. If we were to do it again, I think if we were to have two ways of playing against, we can set up. We shouldn't be able to. It should be very fluid anyway, and that's what I've said a few times, is that we should be able to change from 3-5-2 to 4-4-2 pretty much, and have Cody be able to join the midfield and to press and to challenge their attacks a little bit more. Jack Coleman, being a teacher, would you say that your job is actually quite good in terms of the time it gives you for following football? Absolutely, it does. Because, well, I say that over these 2 years it has been, because we've had 2 years of most of the time playing on Saturdays. The Saturdays, there haven't been many away games on a Sunday, I don't think. Arsenal from memory, Chelsea from memory, the FA Cup semi-final, weren't many on Sundays, but they're okay. It's just that you start the week a little bit more tired than you should do with that. But yeah, most away games are fairly comfortable to get to on a Saturday. It's just a midweek one, so I've missed, I think over the last 2 years I've missed something like 10 games, and they're all because of midweek fixtures, or fixtures have been moved for Sky. So Cardiff in the Premier League was moved from Saturday to Friday night, and I couldn't make that because of work. Norwich was on a Tuesday, Sheffield United was on a Tuesday, so there's been a couple that I've missed because of it. But all in all, teaching's pretty good. If you want to follow football, I think teaching's pretty good. I think I've had a look recently. If you follow me on Twitter, I've looked at the stats of how many games I've been to and stuff, and it's something like 87 games over the last 2 years, and that's obviously because of being a teacher. Right, so Matthew Jevons has corrected me about the financial fair play, and this is actually the 3rd year of the 3-year financial fair play, so I got that wrong. So it could be a little bit of a gamble as well, because obviously you're allowed to make some sort of a loss. I believe it's up to 89 million in the Premier League. I think it might even be more now because we've got into European competition. You know, people will know more than me in the chat. So if you do know more about that, then correct me, please. Robert Fletcher, feel that we could struggle against teams that sit back against us. Yeah, we've seen that a few times, haven't we? Not just in pre-season against Crusaders, but before last season as well. So, yeah. Nathan Jones will be on time next week, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock pretty much every week, every single Wednesday, starting from last Wednesday and now this Wednesday. Do you think that Jimenez and Cotrone will be great together up front? It's difficult to say at this point, having not seen Cotrone play. Another, from the little bits that I have seen, I would possibly say that they are a little bit similar to each other, and that it might be Jota and one of those two, possibly. I could be wrong in that. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Hello, Sophie. Is that why Villa have spent a lot, as it's the last year of financial fair play, says Nathan? Possibly.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Did you all hear that then? Why Alexa just out of nowhere said that? I don't know why that's happened. Chaotic Ranger. The fact that we're now signing players from Real Madrid and AC Milan, when we as Wolves fans are used to buying players from Sunderland or Reading, speaks for itself. Pinching myself as if it's a dream. Yeah, do you know what? I went for a run earlier on, and it's difficult to believe, but I did go for a run. And I was thinking about, the last 3 years as a Wolves fan, from when Fosun took over in 2016, and just thinking what's happened to the club in that time. And it's been doing the rounds on Twitter today. It's been doing the goal that David Davies scored against us in 2017, in about February 2017. And I can remember where I was when I was watching that game, because that was before I moved back to the Midlands. I was sitting it was one of the lowest points of my time in Wales. I was sitting on the stairs in our house because some people came round and they stayed for a bit longer than they should have done. In fact, they shouldn't have come at all, because we knew that I was watching the match, and I think we were winning that game. Maybe 1-0 at half time. I could be wrong with that, and we threw it away. Or it was I can't remember what was happening. It was tight anyway, and then there was that David Davies goal. I remember just sitting there being angry at both the Wolves and my life. So yeah. Anyway, that's a little story about that. Shiv, enlighten us all. What is Nuno missing in terms of a formation change? Shiv, take the floor, please. Is this why Villa have spent a lot as it's the last year of financial fair play? Oh, Shiv says back 4 rather than 3. Ed, do you think the internet will erupt if we sign Diaz? I think Man United fans will be pretty annoyed if that does happen. Wedding dress retail outlet. Hello. I've always been a big fan of your work. Wolves are now once again being shown respect from the biggest teams of the world. Yeah, if you read the quotes from Jesus, I think they were either today or yesterday, and he said about how Real Madrid recommended that he went to Wolves because of how well we did last year. And I mean, it's difficult to really imagine people from Real Madrid looking over at English football and thinking, yeah, we'll send him to Wolves because they're a good team. It may have been a spooky ghost that triggered Alexa. Probably. It's full of spooky ghosts, this house. Can't believe that Wolves are cool. Not are. Okay, okay, Wolves JG. I don't know what he's saying. Ed Rushton from 6-4 win against Rotherham to now. Yeah, unbelievable. And well, even shorter than that, really. From when we I remember we played Rotherham 2017, and there's somebody who's watched my channel from a long time. That was the first video that he watched, and we beat them 1-0. I remember Costa missed the penalty. And it was a terrible game. Rotherham were one of the worst teams that we've ever seen in the Championship, and we just about scraped by them and stopped that terrible losing run that we were on. Yeah, it's been amazing. If people have watched Cotrone's goals, he always seems to be floating around the box and never static. Could be good link up with Mourinho. I think you mean Moutinho, for example, to pick out a pass in tight areas. It's good because as well, Traore, I noticed last week that he was getting into good positions and putting fairly decent balls into the box, but the way that we were playing before Cotrone, we weren't really putting that many balls. We weren't putting that many plays into the box, and it was becoming a little bit pointless that Traore was beating his man and then not putting across to anybody. So we'll have to wait and see how he works in the team, but I imagine that he will be better. He will, as Nuno says, he'll add something different. He'll change. Excuse me. He'll change the way that we play, and that's why you sign new players. That's why you sign different players. So yeah. I thought Matthew Jevons says, I thought Villa were in a tight squeeze with financial fair play the year we went up, but now they're throwing cash about. Well, they had new owners, didn't they? Last summer. They were about to go bust, but then Dr. X sold a majority of his shares to these two Americans. I can't remember their names, but they own like an American football team, I think it is, or baseball team. They're big news over in America, and they've been able to put more money in than, and of course they know as well that they're going to have 100 million ish to come in this year through the TV money. So I mean, they can afford to really have a little gamble, I suppose, this year. How is Jesus on crosses? Very good. I'm not going to the match tomorrow, unfortunately. I mean, was it Monday night? Or I think it was Monday afternoon. I found out that silver away season ticket holders could get a ticket, and I could have got one for Crusaders, but unfortunately, I've got two events on tomorrow. I mean, I've got 6 weeks off, and I've got nothing in the diary at all, apart from the 1st of August, where there were 3 things all on the same day. Two sort of family events, and then Crusaders, and I didn't want to upset anybody, so. And I having saw the game last week, I don't think I'm going to miss too much. So I'll miss out on that. And if we go to Armenia as well, I won't be going to Armenia. Czech Republic might be something different. We'll have to wait and see. But I will be doing a video, yeah, Mike. There will be a video because I am going to try and watch it on the telly. So yeah. It's okay. So Craig says it's okay buying all these players, but Villa need to get them playing, or they'll be the new Fulham. Yeah, it's a very, very. I don't want to spend the whole time talking about Villa, but they're going about it the same way in that where they are signing lots and lots of players, and to get them to play all together, they've got 2 weeks or 10 days before the start of the season, and it's a lot of work for Dean Smith to do, so we'll wait and see how they go. They could end up being like us, but personally I think that Norwich are going to be the best promoted team. We can talk about that a little bit if you like. So yeah, a friend of mine just sent me a picture of him and Martin Guptill at the cricket. We spoke about cricket last week as well. If there's anybody willing to talk about the cricket, the Ashes start tomorrow as well. Very excited about that. I think it's going to be a very, very close series. I actually think that Australia are going to nick it because England are not in the best of form at the moment in terms of Test cricket. If we saw them last week, goodness me, they were terrible. I just need to change a couple of things because it's annoying me that I've still got the old ticker from last week just going across the bottom. So if I just if I can just change that for a second, just chat amongst yourselves because it says no signings still. Is it time to panic? It was last week, wasn't it? Vinagre signs new deal. What should we replace that with? Neves is fit to play. Neves is fit. Get involved in the chat. There we go. That'll do. Right then. Looking forward to it. Low scoring 3-day finishes. I take it that's about the cricket. Let's talk about paint drying. Boys, listen. Test cricket is the ultimate form of sport. Honestly, it is. Right then. Neil Lewis. Hi Togab. How about Jota, Jimenez up front and Cutrone just behind instead of Gibbs White? I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Gibbs White now because another attacking player coming in. It's going to be interesting to see what's happening with him, how much of a part of the season he's going to play. Yeah. They also sold their stadium to their owners last year, last month. How many tickets did Wolves fans get for tomorrow's game? Any idea, Tom? They had 541 tickets. 541 tickets for the game, and as of Monday, which is the last I know about it, they had sold, or there were still 370 left. Because I think there's 1,000 or 700 gold season ticket holders who had the first refusal of the tickets, and they didn't sell. So it's going to be interesting how that goes on through next season. Whether people, because obviously the people working and stuff, the Thursday nights are going to be difficult. But if we get a big tie in the group stage, perhaps people will be wanting to go away. So who do you put in the bottom three at the end of the season, and where will we finish in your opinion? The Red Devils have us 6th or 7th again. I'll take that. I'll do a proper full video on this in the future, in the next week or so, and I will share with you something that I read this morning. But I think we'll do better than we thought at the beginning of the summer. I think similar to last year when we were talking about players, it took a little bit of time for players to come in. Then when we signed Jimenez, we didn't know who he was, and it was a little bit slow to get going. But then as soon as Jean Moutinho and Patricio and Dendoncker came in, then you thought, right, we could challenge in the top half of the table. So it's going to be, I don't want to put my neck on the line for that. So I'll come to the Wolves next week. But for the bottom three, I think you can't look too far past Brighton, Newcastle, and Sheffield United. I think I think I'll stick my neck on the line. It'll be those three. Newcastle, I know they've spent a lot of money recently on Joe Linton and someone else. I can't remember who it was, but I don't fancy them too much. They're in a bit disarray. Steve Bruce, I don't think he's clever enough to be able to stay in the Premier League. Sheffield United as well. Chris Wilder's done a fantastic job taking them from mid-table League One to Premier League in 2 or 3 years. I mean, that's fantastic for him. But the players that they're signing and the sort of plan that they've got, to me, is a little bit, I don't know, a little bit confusing. I was signing Phil Jagielka and people like that. I don't know. And Ravel Morrison, odd signings. I think they'll go down. Brighton as well. Potter. I don't know. Not for me. Am I the only person who thinks the likes of Doherty, Cody, etc. will be cashed in on at the end of the season as the club look to better players? Now, AJ Chandler, I've said this a few times already, and I've been slated a bit. I said it on the Talking Wolves podcast. I can't remember if I mentioned it on the 77 Club, which I was on, and I'll talk about the quiz in a minute. I'm embarrassed myself. So yeah, I think I would definitely do that, just because Doherty's at the peak of his price. He's never going to get any more. he's never going to be more, I don't know, of more value than he is now. Cody as well. I can't see him getting any better. I can see him being pushed out of the team this year, particularly if we're signing players like Diaz and Jesus. I think it's going to be difficult for him to stick on. A couple of retracted messages there. Oh yes. Oh, that was me. You deleted that one. That's fine. Matthew Jevons. I would like Lamida to come in if we are interested. Like the look of him whenever I've seen him for Saints. To be honest, I can't really picture him that much. I don't remember him playing too well at Southampton, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see there. You know, AC Milan share stadiums with their rivals. I know. I've been there 3 years ago. In fact, I was in the San Siro when it was the day of the Fosun press conference, the very first Fosun press conference, 2016. I remember standing behind the dugout and saying, "Imagine in 5 years' time or 3 years' time, or whatever I said, I can't remember. Kenny Jackett will be sitting in that dugout with a Champions League team. Can you imagine? But it could actually be." Could be actually that we are in the Champions League next year, maybe. Oh, my phone's just reminded me to do a live stream. I am doing it at the moment. Thank you. Right then. Finners is in the house. Finners, ladies and gentlemen, who did a video last week at last. Still waiting for the full highlights of my appearance at Molineux. Yes, Shiv, Spartak Moscow was the last one. Yes, I know. The Red Row question as well. I haven't stopped thinking about it, to be honest. I listened back to it. It came out almost immediately. It was like an hour or so after. So Dave Azzopardi, if you're watching, that's the sort of level that the 77 Club work at. They're out within an hour. Look at Finners with all his fangirls in the chat there. Yeah. There was a question about what construction company does Steve Morgan own, and I overthought it, and I thought that the group that built the North Bank, which is called the Buckingham Group, I'm sure of it, I thought that was owned by Steve Morgan. It wasn't. It's a disaster, and it was terrible. So anyway. I understand that Doherty, at least Traore and Vinagre are looking eager and promising. Traore's cross to Jota was brilliant. I don't know whether it was brilliant. To me, it looked a little bit like a bit of a poke. So yeah, we'll see. We didn't go for Maddison. So yeah, who's your favourite cam to bring in, Tom? Maddison, yeah, you'd have been brilliant to bring in. Personally, I don't know. It would be James Maddison. I think is the best cam in the league in terms of young, English, exciting in the England squad. I think he'd be a top player. But we're not going to sign him, are we? So there's no point getting excited about him. Who we will sign, it will be somebody from abroad who I've never heard of, but will turn out to be amazing. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I think I need to, after 2 years of Fosun and Nuno being in charge and old Uncle George, I know that I need to watch European football a little bit more and watch the Portuguese league a little bit more. Keep an eye on Benfica and Porto and Sporting Lisbon. Just keep an eye on them. But anyway, Freddie says, going to ask the basic question, who do you think will sign? Probably already been asked many times. I haven't actually today. Because I think last week it was all, are we going to sign Catrone? Will we sign Catrone? And now we have signed Catrone. And then we're possibly going to sign Diaz. But I think, judging by the reaction of people over the last week or so, and particularly when we've signed, Catrone, I think people are content that if the season was to start tomorrow and the squad that we've got, I think people would be very, very happy. What do you guys all think of that? Would you be? I was happy last week before these signings, I think we would have been okay. But now with these two signings, I think we could see us going deeper in competitions and looking at I don't know, perhaps looking at the top 6 now rather than the top 7 before. What do you guys think? Who do you think will win Player of the Season? I've said a couple of times on various podcasts and videos over the last week or so that I think Diogo Jota is going to be the top player in the division, maybe the top young player. But I've stuck my neck out of the line and said PFA Player of the Year, Diogo Jota. I think he's got a chance of being one of the top scorers in the league. I think he could get 20 goals for us next year. The form that he was in from January to the end of the season was superb. The way that he played last week and the way we've seen him in pre-season, he looks absolutely on fire still. And hopefully he can carry on. He can carry on. Right then, so there's a bit of chat there to do with Finners. Somebody asked about Traore and is Traore improving? Yes, he looked like he was making better decisions. However, he's got to practice crossing the ball because it's these little like dinks that he's putting in rather than whipping in across. We've got fairly short players really in terms of Jimenez and Jota. So we need to be playing it to the sort of or where the ball went for the Jota goal on Thursday. I think that was a pretty accurate delivery. It wasn't the best delivery because it was a little dink like that, but it was effective. It worked. But I want to see him get into the byline and drilling it across the 6-yard box and making it really, really difficult for the defenders to deal with. Because if you put it across there, they can't really do anything with it. They've got to get their foot on the ball, and if they do, it could go in, or if they don't, we could swoop in and nick it. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Right, let's just go back a little bit more because the chat is really hotting up now, boys and girls. Grealish, we were talking about cams a few minutes ago. Centre attacking midfielders. I think Grealish is pretty good. I wouldn't like him at the Wolves though. I'd like him at the Wolves just to annoy Villa, to get him to stop him playing for the Villa because he's their best player, isn't he, by a long way. Phil Foden, of course, yeah. I think Phil Foden is a very, very exciting player. But he's so highly rated at City that it would cost probably 100 million now. Oh no, does the ticker say Crouton? Have I become the fan cast? Nobody else has spotted it though, Shiv. Oh, it does say Crouton. Did anybody see that? Did anybody see the fan cast with their video yesterday? I say video, it's more like a migraine. They spent ages obviously putting this video together and came up with welcome Crouton. I thought it was very, very funny. Neves will probably be the captain, but I hope that Cody stays a long time before that happens. Yeah, the thing with Cody is that yes, he's a very good leader and he's very vocal and whatever, but there's only so long that you can keep a player like that. You can't just keep on holding on to somebody because they shout a lot. I mean, the fact that Jesus said the other day that I could understand him, I thought that was really funny. But yeah, so nearly finished the Molyneux vid, Tom. I promise. Is it going to be an hour and a half epic? Finners is taking you what 4 months nearly, 3 months. Come on. Bruno Fernandes would be unreal. I take it he's a foreign player, is he, from foreign climes? But then Wolverhampton Wanderers, I imagine that's the real Wolverhampton Wanderers. It says dream on. Finners again hogging the chat there with all his fanboys. One of the key things written on the Compton wall is stay humble. I love that, and I'd recommend the same attitude for the fans. Yeah, I think it's quite easy for lots of us who have, and Wolves have always been a very well supported club, and when we were in League One, there's still 20,000 people every single game. Season tickets were probably down to around about 12,000 at that point. But still, there's going to be a lot of people who have been through all the trials and challenges over the last 10 years that we are all going to be enjoying this period now and not taking it for granted at all. It's the younger fans coming through that I think we're going to have to pass on that sort of knowledge to, because you see with people like, you know, teams like Chelsea and Man City have just become this, you know, they're dead in terms of atmosphere, both of them. But then you've got City a little bit less so, but Chelsea, you've just got this. It's a circus with the manager every season. They're going to have a new manager if they don't win the league, whatever. And it's that new generation of fan coming through that we need to make sure that they are humble and that they are understanding of the history, of the recent history and the, you know, distant history. That Wolves are, you know, a traditional old football team that have contributed so much to football worldwide, but have also had their own struggles, and that we're lucky really to be where we are, and that, you know, this is the start. I think if we were to finish 7th in 10 years' time, people would be getting sacked and whatever. I think it would be terrible. But you know, we're at the start of a journey. We need to understand it and appreciate it. Just wish Adama could cut onto his left foot. Yeah, he does cut in, but then he don't really do anything with it, does he? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Can I vote on my Beer World Cup semi-final games? Is that on Twitter? Why does Vinagre love so many stepovers, says Brian? Yeah, he does. And they're huge stepovers, and his foot goes miles out. I love it. I heard that AC Milan got a buyback clause in the Catrona deal, like a first refusal thing, but might just be a rumour made up. Yeah. Again, with lots of these transfers, we don't really know what's going on at the moment, because I mean, we don't know the ins and outs of all these deals, do we? Anyway, so Tom, your opinions on HRH, Ashwild, Tom Blewett, and the Wolfpack. Well, the Wolfpack is HRH and Ashwild, isn't it? So, this is a family-friendly channel, so I would like to pass on that question. Tom Blewett, is that I take it that's Tom Wolves AWE, or as somebody called him yesterday, Sky Sports Tom. I think he's okay, isn't he? He tweets a lot, but you know, when you're at home all day or whatever, I don't really know him. I wouldn't like to pass comment on him. I don't really know HRH either, but I have, you can't help but avoid his content. What I will say, and this is the honest truth, I sat and I thought, right, I'll watch one of his. I think it was a live stream or something. I wasn't watching it live. I was watching it back. I thought, I'll give it 5-10 minutes. I'll give it a long time and see if he's got any salient points or anything interesting to say. But I had to stop watching because I was getting travel sick. Because I think he has now got things to, you know, he sets up his camera properly. But he was having his phone like this, and it was turning my stomach for more ways than one. From what he was saying, and from the ridiculous camera angles. But anyway, I'll carry the torch for the new Super Wolves, for the new Wolves super fan, Tom. Don't you worry. Great. Hope all the pant wetters have calmed down now. Yes, I think they have. Shiv, how many homegrown players do you think we will have in our first 11 this time next year? I think we're going to have to sign somebody. Tom Blewett is part of the Wolfpack. I don't know who Tom Blewett is then. I don't know who he is. Dan Scott sat in a bar in Ireland and we're going mental. Big shout out, Tom. Is there anybody else watching this in Ireland? In Belfast? That's amazing. Thank you, Dan. Catrone Keane going to Everton. Well, we've got Catrone, so I'm going to go for Catrone. He's a Wolves player, so he's going to be the boy in me. I'm wondering how I can explain to my kids one day about how I followed the First Division playoff final on Text TV. Yeah, that's funny. I remember the season before that when we were we just missed out on automatic promotion. I remember spending all afternoon at the age of 10 being so nervous and not being able to stay inside and watch it, and just going out into the garden to pretend to act out the game because I just couldn't face listening to it or watching it on teletext like you said. I just thought, if I go out and I pretend the Wolves are winning 3-0, we'll win 3-0. Came back and it was just 2-2. Jota or Jimenez to finish top scorer? That's a common question that keeps coming up. I've said Jota. I think Jimenez will chip in with a similar number to that he did last year, about 10 to 15. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that if he was to finish with 10, 15. But I think Jota could get 20, and I don't think that's being too generous. Jota's shares on Football Index are climbing and climbing. Good or bad news? I would take it that means that it's good news, isn't it? That people are, or that his stock is rising. I think that's how that works. I haven't done it myself, but I think that the game is that you sign players when their shares are low and try and sell them when they're high. I imagine so. It's good, isn't it? That I don't know. Hiya, fellow Yam Yams. Peter Rimmer, hello. James Watkins, what do you think our realistic chances are in Europe? I think that first and foremost we have to make sure that we're in the group stage at the very least. If we don't get to the group stage, then it's a failure, really. We should get past Crusaders now with a 2-goal lead. We would have liked it to have been more, but it's not. So 2 goals over there, we should be able to go and see that out. And then moving forward, we played Jablonec a couple of years ago, and I think somebody told me last week that we drew. So we should beat them over 2 legs as well, you'd imagine. And then there's one more, and we're seeded for that playoff game, aren't we? So we should get through. We should get through to the group stage. So then I would expect us to finish in the quarterfinals. I think that would be a very good run. I mean, Swansea. Where did Swansea go through to the last 16? Did they? I seem to remember them playing against Fiorentina. I'm sure they beat Fiorentina as well. But anyway, Shiv, I have seen the BT Sports script, and I was going to make a video on it until you've just made that that comment there about it being nonsense. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll read these few comments and then I'm going to share with you the BT script because I've saved it onto my phone. People are making loads of Catrone songs and he hasn't even kicked a ball. Which one's your favourite? Favourite one is the one where he talks about spag, bolognese. He's something. He swapped bolognese for mushy peas. Brilliant. Classic. So yeah. I like that one. Tom Roden. Do you think Nuno would play 3 up top with Jota, Jimenez and Catrone against the so-called lesser sides and revert to the 3-4-3? It'll be interesting to see what he does, because I can't imagine that he won't play the same 3-4-3 that he used to, because you're not going to put out Jimenez or Catrone on the wing. Jota we know that can do, but struggled in the Premier League. So I'd imagine that we play a bit of a narrower 3 or 2 with one of them slightly behind. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it's something that is possible. What do you think that will happen at Leicester away? I think there'll be a football match, and I think we will win that game. I can't remember who it was talking about. I think it was a Southampton channel, YouTube channel, and they were talking about how the European fixtures helped them years when they were last in the Europa League and they had to qualify. They said that the playing competitive games in July and early August helped them in the first part of the season, and then it was only I think it was around about October, November, they said that it started to wear them down because they played so many more games than everybody else at that point. You're adding I think I counted that it's possibly 21 games from where we've entered to the final. If we can get there, it's 21 extra games, which is an incredible amount. And you're adding, it's a championship season plus 10, pretty much, isn't it? So, in terms of the Premier League and then the European competition on top, and then the League Cup, FA Cup, depending on how far we go in them, but we'll see. I think we'll win a trophy this year. I've got a feeling. Got a feeling in my waiters. Hello, Taz. I hope Everton haven't signed that cat. How do you think that Nuno will tackle both FA Cup and League Cup with rotating players? Well, the League Cup we're not going to enter until the third round now because of being in Europe, so we will not enter until the end of September, which is a good thing. I think just before or just after the international break? Just after the first international break. So I think that there won't be too much. I think we'll see a very, very changed team in the League Cup. But that being said, you're not too far away from quarterfinals and stuff when you enter round 3, so we'll have to wait and see. But I think the 2 domestic cups are going to be a little bit on the back burner in comparison to last year. But you never know. You never know with Nuno. We might go and play a full strength team and we might end up winning everything. I think there were odds today of Wolves to win a trophy. So that's Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, 9-2 with Sky bet. I think it was request a bet, so that's pretty good odds. I like that. Where will be sat at Leicester? Well, Wolves fans will sit in the corner behind. I'm trying to think where the television cameras are. I think, are they behind the? Well, I know where we sit. We sit opposite the tunnel, in the corner to the left as you come out the tunnel, left opposite corner. But yeah. How far do you think we'll go in the FA Cup and League Cup? I think that we'll go further in the League Cup this year. I think I could see us getting to the final of that. I think that'd be good. And we've got a bit more of history in the recent history in the League Cup than the FA Cup in terms of getting through to finals. 1980, 1974. Last FA Cup final goal was 1960. Should have been this year, but never mind. But yeah, I think League Cup, and I want to see Wolves competing in those competitions as well. We had a discussion on the Talking Wolves podcast recently where Matt was saying that he didn't really rate the cup competitions or didn't see the importance of them, but for us and the level that we're at, we've got a very, very good chance of winning something if the draw is right, like it was last year, and if luck is on our side in the future. So Toolkit says 3-4-1-2, Cutrone and Raul up front and Jota as a free roam role like Hazard at Chelsea. Yes, I like that as well. Chaotic Rager. And a couple of people agree with him as well, but 3-5-2 didn't work against Huddersfield. For goodness sake, Tom Roden says. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. But again, I'm adamant that playing 3 at the back against these smaller teams where they sit back is completely pointless because you're basically playing a man short because Cody doesn't offer anything at all. I think you're better off playing a back 4 and you can have Bennett and... Oh, it's not going to be Bennett, is it? It would be Bolly and Diaz or whoever it's going to be. They will contribute more and offer more, and you could have Cody drift into midfield perhaps. But yeah. What do you rate Danny Olmo? I don't know a lot about him. Again, I can only say what I've seen on various little YouTube clips, and he looks good. He looks like that unlocking number 10 that we need. We'll have to wait and see. I think we need a player like him. I think that's what I said. Diogo in the hole. Tom, mate, get your 4-4-2 diamond email to Nuno. I did do a little tactic video back. When was it? After the Brighton game, was it? Or before the Brighton game? I can't remember. I think it was after the Brighton game. But yeah, it was. We need to have a little look at the tactics there. But right, 5 minutes or so left on the stream, boys and girls. Don't forget to drop a like on it. I haven't actually checked how many likes we're on. Don't forget, 100 likes gets money donated to charity, guys. So if you could, the 65 of you in the chat, if you haven't already liked it, like the stream, and let's raise some money. I donated £8 yesterday to the Haven because of your likes. Well done. It should be more. Let's get it more. And as well, I've thought about doing perhaps like a charity live stream where, I don't know, for 12 hours or something, perhaps next week when we're talking about the end of the transfer window. I think it could be, if you're interested in that, like a 12-hour live stream. Do you think that would be good? Do you think people would like that? Who do you think will be the dark horse next season in the Premier League? I think West Ham are ones to look out for. I think that it's just gone up 15 likes. Sorry, 17 likes. Well done, everybody. Keep it going. Come on. More and more and more. I like that. What was the question? Who do you think? West Ham, I think, are going to be very good. Southampton are going really under the radar because Hasenhüttl, when he came in last year, was unbelievable. Unbelievable. From when he took over to when they finished, was amazing. So watch out for that. Wolves uploaded a Catrone interview. Okay, I'll have a look at that. And once I finish here, I'll be there for. Thanks, Taz. Let me have a look back here. I'd like to see Traore getting further forward into the box or pass the ball quickly rather than waiting on the edge of the box all the time. Yes, yeah, it's something that he doesn't do. He doesn't anticipate where the ball is going or anything like that. We need to have. He needs to be better. He needs to be better at anticipating and running onto the ball and stuff like that. I'd be there for 13 hours, mate. I love that, Shiv. Love that. Yeah, let me know if you want a 12-hour live stream next. When would it be? When does the transfer window end? It's Thursday, is it? Thursday night. Would you like it? Do you want a long live stream? YouTube didn't notify me of the stream. Right, Wolves and then that funny little face. Go onto your YouTube and it's on my channel where it says subscribe. You've got to hit the little bell. You have to. You simply have to. I looked at my channel thing the other day, and I think there was about 22% of my subscribers have got the bell on, which means that a lot, 78%, do not have the bell on. So you have to get the bell on, otherwise you miss out on uploads and things like that. So it's annoying, but YouTube don't tell people why things don't happen. But I'm sorry that you've missed out tonight, and hopefully you can I don't know, catch up. Maybe you can go back to the beginning and watch it all again if you really want to. Hi Tom, do you think we'll sign Diaz? I don't know. Oh, he's got the bell on. Well done. I don't know. It's an interesting one because I think there's some interest from him. A couple of days ago I was thinking about he's not going to want to go. He isn't going to want to go because he's playing at Benfica. He loves Benfica. And there was this talk about the new deal and things like that, and that he didn't want. Oh, I don't know. I thought that he was using it as a bit of a bargaining chip with Benfica to try and get himself some more money or get what he wanted. But I think there is some genuine interest from him to come to Wolves. So hopefully, I mean, he's one of the highest rated young defenders in the world. So that'd be amazing. I'd really, really like him. Come on, guys, like the video. We're up to 43. That's gone up 23 in the last couple of minutes. Let's see if we can get to 50 before the end of the stream. That'd be very, very great. And then hopefully there'll be 50 more likes from people who watch it afterwards. I think that people do watch this thing afterwards as well because they might be at work or what have you. Somebody's just said the Craig Dawes there saying he's on nights. So whack it on, and we can, yeah, I don't know. Alexa is a spy in the camp. Yeah. Got the bell on YouTube just being slow. You will get splinters. What's that from? What is that from? Only chance to see Wolves signing Diaz if we do instalments to help with financial fair play rather than pay 66 million outright. We could pay 66 million outright because we are absolutely loaded. We are one of the richest clubs in the country. Right then, you'll get splinters. I've read that one. What am I talking about? Arsenal United to Diaz would shake everyone's boots. Oh, sorry, beating Arsenal and United to Diaz would shake everybody's boots. Yeah, it would be fantastic if we could sign him. Okay, I don't understand what you mean about Diaz. Right then, last minute of the stream. Get in the chat your predictions for Thursday's game against Crusaders. What's the score going to be? Who's going to score? Is anybody going to pick up an injury on the 4G pitch? We haven't even spoken about that. And as well, so I want 3 things. I want no 4 things. Score, scorers, injuries, 12-hour live stream, yes or no, next week on transfer deadline day. The Catrona chat was on Twitter. So there's 4 questions that I've asked you to answer in the next minute or so. It has just turned 9 o'clock, but I'll go into extra time, especially for you lot, because you are the best subscribers in the world, all of you. So yes. What are we saying, boys and girls? Where did you find the Catroni chat? It was on Twitter. I think I've just said that. One West Brom disliked. Can't wait for the next podcast with the other guys. You guys do make me laugh. Yeah, I don't know if it's official yet, if Dave has said it properly, but we're doing one on Sunday, this Sunday, and hopefully, I'm hoping that it's going to become a more regular thing, a twice monthly thing, two a month. I think 1 a month is too far apart. Right, I don't like doing predictions. I feel bad. I feel like giving bad luck, so I avoid. What if you say that we're going to lose 3-0? You know, 4-1 Diogo hat-trick, 3-0 Wolves, Bolly, Neves, Jota, 1-0 Wolves, Traore, 3 more goals for us tomorrow night, says Mike Evans, 2-0 Jota and Bolly, 2-0 Wolves, Jota and Raul, Jota injured if he plays whole game, and yes to the live stream. Luca Hambleton, hey, how's it going? You've turned up just as we are finishing, unfortunately, so very, very, very sorry about that. Tom Roden, 2-0 Wolves again. Jota and Dendonka, the donk with a screamer. He tried it, didn't he, last week? He came very, very close. Plastic pitch, 2-1 to Wolves. Rob Fletcher says, I think it's going to be a little bit closer than we first anticipated last week. But I think we'll get through quite comfortably. No injuries, hopefully, says Craig Smith. 3-0 to Wolves. Jota. Hegarty. That doesn't add up to 3. Oh, sorry. Hegarty, Crusader centre-back, gets a red. Yes to the 12-hour live stream. Okay. Great. Okay. Right, I think we're going to call it a day there, boys and indeed girls. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new, if 43 of you are here, if any of you are new, then please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back. Maybe not next Wednesday. Maybe it'll be transfer. Oh no, when is transfer deadline day? Is that next Wednesday? No, it'll be next Thursday, won't it? Because of the Europa League. So I'll talk about it, and we'll. Oh, Freddie's just said, quick shout out to Manny, who is auctioning off a Leicester ticket for Dementia UK on Wolves Tickets Buy and Sell Facebook group. So if you want to, well, A, go to Leicester, and B, donate some money to Dementia UK, I'm sure that'd be very, very much appreciated. Manny, it looks like he's carrying on with his good work from last year. Luca, he had a good night out, and that's why he's late. 1-0 to Wolves, Johnny. Nice one, Luca. Great video, Tom. Thank you, Craig. I'll see you all again either next Wednesday Next Thursday, 5 PM is the transfer deadline, so that means starting at 5 AM. I doubt that'll happen. We'll do a long live stream next Thursday. We'll also do one on Wednesday, normal Wolves Wednesday, and then a special transfer deadline day one. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.